Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new to this channel, my name is Amra and this is Amra's Beauty Blog. I'm a freelance makeup artist with a passion for all things beauty. If you're a subscriber, then a welcome return. If you like this video, then please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell for weekly uploads. So today I'm really excited to be talking about the new Wayne Goss Edit collection. I have purchased the full collection of his brushes, so I'm just going to show you that now. These are the full collection. There are 7 in the collection and they all have a sort of Japanese artisan look to all of the brushes. I wanted to show you what they look like. So you have sort of a larger brush and then it kind of descends into smaller size brushes as you go along the line. So you have the larger brush, which is the 1, and then you've got the 2 brush, the 3 brush, which is here, the 4 brush, which is here, the 5, the 6, and the 7. I just wanted to tell you my story about these brushes. I actually hadn't intended to pick these up, and the reason why I was hesitant when it launched was because I have a lot of brushes. I am a collector of brushes. I love Japanese brushes. I generally use, which you can see behind me, brushes from Sonia G because I find that her brushes really suit my skin in terms of being very, very soft and giving a beautiful finish. And I believe if you're going to invest in anything, then brushes is the thing to invest in. The thing that appealed to me and why I went back to purchase these were because these are made from Saikoho brush hair, which is goat hair. And what's great about these is that you can use these for cream products as well as for powder. And I don't have many pure Saikoho brush hair brushes. So a part of me was like, the fact that the whole collection was made from the same material. I think the last one, maybe number 7, is like a mixture. I think it's kind of got a mixture of 2 different hairs, but the others are all Saikoho goat hair. And it just appealed to me because I don't have anything in my current collection that, like I said, would be really good for purely cream products unless I use synthetic brushes. I think I've got some brushes from Chantecaille which are synthetic. There are some brushes that I have from various brands like Real Techniques, that sort of thing, that are not real. I think Rihanna had some brushes as well that I've got that are not real, but I just wanted to see what it was like to use real goat hair and see what the difference would be. I also wasn't sure originally about the actual style of these brushes. So now, I have the previous Wayne Goss collection. I picked these ones up and I absolutely love these. These are so lovely. They are very different. So these have that string at the end, as with the Wayne Goss ones that I've just picked up. Same shape, they're just different in terms of sizes. I already had these, so I knew that the shape would be really good. I just wasn't sure how it would be for the smaller brushes, which are for the shadow brushes. And I was a bit hesitant because I'm normally quite a traditionalist when it comes to eyeshadow. I like my brushes to be sort of in the shape of the flat brushes. However, after seeing people's reviews online, I noticed that when they applied, say for example, number 6, I think they used it under the eye, or even like the smaller brush here, which is number 7, as a kind of brush to just get sort of like under the eye, like the flat definer one would do in, say, Sonia G. I was like, wow, this is really cool. This brush is quite agile and it can do a lot of things. So that was what intrigued me and why I went back to pick up this collection. Today, I'm just going to show you these brushes, but I'm just going to go through each of these brushes and what they're meant to do. And then I'll sort of explain as well what you can use them for other things as well. Those are the Wayne Goss brushes I have from him from his previous collection. I also have one of his previous sort of brushes back in the day. I think I bought this ages ago, which I think is now being called the airbrush. I actually bought a spare of this because I do makeup for clients, and so when I was using it on clients, I liked the feel of this brush. It gave a really lovely finish, and so I bought a spare one for my kit. I don't have a hell of an amount of Wayne Goss brushes. I think the only other set I've got is his synthetic ones, which I haven't done a review on, and I'll do that very soon. I have these ones now, so I'm very, very excited that these arrived from Beautylish. Took a bit of time. It was expedited shipping, but it took about 5 days. I don't know what happened. It got stuck somewhere. Anyhow, I eventually got these, so I thought I would show you this video today. So this is a description on the Beautylish website about the collection. It says about Wayne Goss, the Goss Edit collection. Master the art of makeup with an expertly crafted collection of brushes from makeup artist Wayne Goss. Nearly a decade after the launch of his first ever brush set, Wayne has reimagined his core brushes with thoughtful updates tailored to your needs. He said, I wanted to create a new collection of brushes that had you, your needs and your pain points in mind. I'm thrilled to be able to share this with you, Wayne Goss. Why it's so special, it says a set of 7 handmade makeup brushes with a calligraphy-inspired design. Each brush is carefully handcrafted by master artisans in Kumano, Japan's brushmaking capital. Whisper soft natural hair bristles glide over face without irritating sensitive skin or disturbing makeup underneath. It says can be used with liquid, cream and powder products. Wash occasionally with a gentle brush soap and lay flat or hang to dry. Other details, so there's a set of 7 brushes. The hair type is Saikoho Goat. Brush 07 is a blend of Saikoho Goat and PBT, and the brushes are made from maple wood handles. The reviews are fantastic on Beautylish. There's like 10 reviews and it's like 5 out of 5. I wanted to see how these would fare, so I went to look at other people's beauty blog channels before I ended up purchasing these myself. I can tell you now that I am really impressed by the way they look initially. So let's go through these individually now. I believe on Wayne Goss's website he has a video and he goes through what each of these do, but I'm just going to give you a quick sort of rundown really of how I would use these brushes, purely due to the size and shape of these brushes. So the first brush is kind of like a blush brush, I would say. You can use this for bronzing, for foundation, for blush. There's so many ways to use this brush. There's also a number 2 brush. I prefer number 2, I think, for foundation. The reason why I say that is a little bit more denser than the first brush. So this one's just slightly more looser. So this one is probably best for like bronzer, and this one is probably good for like blush and sort of powder or any cream product that is for blush or bronzer or contour. This one is really good for foundation, number 2. I'd probably even use it for contouring as well because the brush is quite firm, so it's a bit more firmer than the first one. And yeah, sort of cream products. This is the one I had my eye on the most. Even like I'd say the first 3, you can use these for a number of things. Interesting enough, this one looks like the previous brush. This is the other set. This brush is different to this one because this one is probably more denser and, like I said, a bit flatter at the top. So it's better for foundations and that sort of thing. Whereas this one is definitely more of a looser finish. Very much like the first brush, I would say, but the first brush is just that little bit bigger. So if you can see the 2 side by side, this one looks a bit bigger. So to be honest, you can kind of mix and match with these. This one is just a little bit larger than the original set that I purchased. This one isn't like anything that I've seen. So number 2 looks really interesting. Brush 3 is similar to the one that he had from his previous collection. It's a little bit more narrower. This one's more wider. The tip is the same. I don't think there's a huge difference, but I think this one would be good for highlighting as I would use this brush. So they are quite similar. I wish he sold these separately because I would definitely have bought these separately because I have the previous collection. I think the only difference is that this one you can use it with cream, whereas this one you can't. In that sense, this one is more of a benefit because you can use it with everything. Those 2 are quite similar. So we've looked at brush 1, 2 and 3. If we looked at brush 4, brush 4 is similar to the smallest one in the set by Wayne Goss before. Again, the bristles are very similar. The size is very similar. I'd say these are very similar. The only thing I'd say the difference between the 2 is that this one you can use it with cream, this one you can't. That is the flexibility with that. I probably wouldn't have picked up this one either, but it's just nice to have that as a sort of another brush I can use for cream products. So we looked at 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now we're going to look at 5, 6 and 7. These aren't like any of the brushes he's already released. Because they're so small, I would say these are for eye or detailed work. So for example, this one, which is number 5, if you wanted to get into bronzer or you wanted to contour or just sort of use that to create shadow, then you can use it for that. Or if you wanted to get into like the higher parts of your brow bone just there is a tip, but you could get into that sort of inner corner, but it's probably more for sort of like if you wanted highlight but you wanted it to be in a particular way, on your sort of Cupid's bow, the tip of your nose, that sort of thing. That's what I would use this one for. Sorry, 6 and 7. This one would be really good for like when you want to get the colour under the eye. This would be fantastic for that. Because it's got a bit of a tip as well, it can reach really well for areas where you want to take that colour, and also any kind of detail work. Number 5, number 6 and number 7 would be good for if you wanted to put it sort of in the crease. This would be really good as well because there's a tip. Very different to like a flat brush. It's probably going to create a really sort of maybe a slightly different finish. I don't know, I haven't tried these brushes yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing how that looks. I think for sort of like crease work, this would be really, really good to use. When it comes to detail under the eye, this would be very similar to the Sonia G flat definer, where I would take that brush normally and I would put that for sort of product underneath the eye. I would put the colour just under the eye here, and I could see that that would work really well. So this brush number 6 would be perfect for that. And then finally, brush number 7, it's a little bit less pointed. This again is really good for detail work. I would probably use it for sort of spot concealing, where you want to conceal and you really want to get into detail. But also, I think this would be really good for the lips. In fact, it can make a really good lip brush because it's designed for creams and liquids. Using it on your lips would be fantastic as well. That's the whole collection from Wayne Goss. This retails for $225. It offers split payments, which is really helpful because it can spread the cost. And for something like the brushes, I always like to spread the payments because they are quite costly. Some people have said these are quite expensive. Now, for what you're getting 7 brushes that are handmade. I think that the quality is fantastic. When I felt the brushes, they feel really, really soft, and they are probably going to be really good for people with sensitive skin. I've also been told that this collection is very good for people with sort of hooded eyes or sort of smaller eyes. I think this would be great. I have situations where sometimes I need a brush that is going to give me that sort of finer sort of finish, and I think these brushes are going to be really great for that. I'm so pleased that he has upgraded his collection. Not that it needed upgrading or updating or what he's done. To be honest, I haven't really explored a lot of his older collection, and I am gonna sort of at some point start collecting those because I've heard some great things about Wayne Goss and his brushes. He's been around before, I think even before Sonia G introduced her brushes, although I love Sonia G brushes, as you know, but I am really interested in exploring his other brushes now that I've tried these ones in terms of picking these up. I cannot wait to start using these. Please look forward to me using these in my next videos, and I hope that it can demonstrate how great these brushes can be. I am glad I U-turned and went back and bought them. Obviously at the beginning I wasn't sure about them. After looking at sort of different reviews and listening to what Wayne said about these brushes, I was convinced that it would be good to pick these up because I don't have anything like it. There are a possible couple of dupes there, so when he releases them as single brushes, it'll be really good for you to pick up, say, the smaller brushes if you've already got the previous collection, which is the one I showed you before. Please let me know your thoughts and your comments. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and I will look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you.